Hi guys, welcome back for another one. I am Mr. Free to Play. That is right, I'm a free to play player and I give free to play player advice, tips, tricks, and other things. And the newest dev blog has hit. It's supposed to be good enough for 2 weeks. Is it that good of a dev blog? Well, I am joined by Milestone365 to find out. So if you're ready for it, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Alright guys, so today my guest is Milestone365, and before we dig into this, let me give a shout out to Milestone365 for once again, for the second month in a row, being my bold prediction winner by you guys voting at home. Congratulations. His bold prediction will be on my screen right now for you guys all to read, and as customary for the content creator to win bold predictions, it's time I give a little shout out to your channel. You didn't expect this coming. But I did take a look at your channel earlier today.
Appreciate it.
I did take a look at your channel earlier today and saw that you had a video just 2 days ago about Doom and his kit, and I thought it was very thought-provoking. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to put a little screenshot up on my screen right now, but please go check it out. The link to that video will be in my description down below. Now, without any further ado, let's get into this dev blog. So the announcement of Longshot and Shatterstar. Before we dig into their kits or anything else, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are, these two characters are interesting. I wouldn't put them as, say, A-list Marvel characters on really any list, but they're interesting. They feel like they're just built to work together, but past that, we have a lot to learn about them.
So guys, we're not going to dig in and read all this for you. We're just going to jump straight into each character and give our thoughts on them and, potential future, what this could mean for the long term of the game. So first, let's start with Longshot. Now, before I have Milestone365 getting on any key takeaways from the kit, the one thing I do want to dig into is that both these new characters have the X Factor tag. Are you surprised by that?
I am kind of surprised by the X Factor tag. I followed the comics back when X-Men were really at their peak in the 90s, and X Factor kind of came as a bolt-on there, and it's had a real hard time maintaining kind of a comic run. So that they're bringing in characters that are not super popular from that series is interesting, though we do need more mutant tags because our teams are stuffed. So I guess we do need some kind of tag to be able to slot some more mutants into.
I got a lot more I want to dig into, but let's get through these characters first. So first off, Longshot. What were some of your key takeaways when you read his kit?
Well, first, for both of them, I look at it and it seems like we've got our first characters that are literally designed for an ISO type. Hey, everything's about getting crits, so these guys are raiders. I've never felt that way before. I thought we always had at least some thought about which one we'd want to go, but if they're all about crit, then it's all about raider. Kind of the way that the Shield team is all about crit. So that was the first thing that jumped out at me.
I'm glad you said that. When I first read Longshot and I got down to his ultimate and then read his passive, I was like, this matches the ISO Raider so well that it's almost scary. I don't know what direction they're going to go, and we're going to theory craft once we get to the bottom here. But to me, I'm glad you said that because that's the exact same way I felt. So before we move on, you have any other thoughts you have about Longshot?
Longshot, he's interesting in that his special requires 2 energy. It hits everybody, so he frequently do AoEs. That's kind of something new. We're not used to having a damage dealer that could just almost every turn do an AoE plus a bleed. So that's something new and different. Past that though, the utility is not super high of the character. So those are my 2 main takeaways about this character.
All right, let's move on to the next one, Shatterstar. All right, so Shatterstar, once again, having the X Factor tag, we'll dig into it. But what were your key takeaways when you read his kit?
Reading his kit, his special, is the opposite of Longshot. Longshot has a 2 energy special. This guy's got a 6 energy special. So you're well, he's not going to use that very often. And that's the one that grants ability energy, so he can't even use it to speed things up. I don't know. Past that, it looks like all just pure damage. not a huge amount of utility other than having a defense up for X Factor on his ultimate. That's only for one character right now, and a single target defense down. I mean, these two characters are kind of like basic damage dealers. That maybe they work really well together to say fill out a team. Like, hey, you have 3 extra X-Men, put Longshot and Shatterstar on the team, and they're kind of okay.
Yeah.
Those just all that I really pulled away. Other than I always have a chuckle thinking about the most useless weapons in all of Marvel, like the double sword that gets stuck in everything. But yeah.
Yeah. So when I read these two and I seen that they had synergy with each other, now one of my initial thoughts, and I'll see how you feel about this, was that I don't think we're getting a full team of X Factor like right at the start of 2021. I think that these two combo with each other well. Like, it reminds me of Ant-Man and Wasp, just better than Ant-Man and Wasp. What are your thoughts? Do you think we're going to get a full team of X Factor?
I agree with you, Mr. Free to Play. I don't think we're getting a new team. I think this is a Band-Aid because of when WandaVision was supposed to launch in December, and only recently did they announce that on Disney Plus, WandaVision is now launching January 15th. So they really just had to Band-Aid about a month of characters before they could get into the WandaVision actual, like, moving forward of the MCU. So, hey, 2 characters. They had these 2, and they were ready. That's kind of why I think that they're coming.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get the rest of the team. Though, I mean, we could get teams like, they could get Polaris or Multiple Man or some other interesting characters that could join the team. But I really feel like they're filler until WandaVision's available, and then they have to sync up their character release with characters that are on that show.
Yeah, I'm glad you're kind of thinking something, because I was like, I read this and I was like, well, the rumors that we're hearing, Iceman, Rogue, like, it don't seem like they'd get the X Factor tag. So these seem like outcasts, and they synergize with each other so they could be plug and play in other teams. And you mentioned, like, you have 3 oddball X-Men, boom, you throw these guys in here, they combo with each other, and they kind of fill in those 2 spots.
They probably work really well with Beast too. So yeah. I think Beast would give them a lot of benefits. Just in that Beast's kit has boost to lots of different kinds of characters by their classification. So it might work okay with them.
Any last thoughts about Longshot and Shatterstar before we move on?
Interesting graphically. Don't think that they make any difference for Dr. Mitchin 4, but those are the only other comments I would make about those guys.
Yeah, for other uses, like, I looked at the Longshot, and like, he's a blaster, and I kind of looked at him like, does he fit good for the blaster challenge, which a lot of people were struggling with the Catalyst of Change challenge. And I looked at him and I was like, no, he doesn't really replace anybody that you would want to use for that challenge. So I'm not sure how excited the community is going to be for these 2 characters. I don't think they're going to bring in any 4th quarter money for the devs. Obviously, whales are going to whale, but I don't see there being a whole lot of excitement. So the question becomes, who's going to be the exciting character of this patch? Any thoughts?
I still hope we see a legendary that gets announced. I think we're overdue to see a legendary. We're almost to the second run of Dr. Octopus, and I don't think we've ever gotten to the second run of the most recent character without at least announcing what the next legendary would be. So yeah, I'm hoping for that. I think you probably have a quick mention of a character that we'll be able to get access to pretty soon. That's pretty exciting too.
All right. So let's move on. All right. So the next thing was Dark Dimension 4 celebration for the event that someone is the first to clear it. How fast do you think, once they put this in the game, the first person will clear? And I think we all know there are people out there that are planning on conquering this thing as fast as they possibly can, if not day 1. Do you think someone will do it?
I don't think it'll take even a week. Yeah, I think that the materials to take characters to gear tier 15 they seem more available now than when Dark Dimension 3 launched. So giving that and knowing how whales whale and how many cores will be applied to, I mean, literally this part of the dev post is about, hey, when you whale out, you get to have these 3 things. Specifically to the person who wants to whale the most, they get what's in this part of the blog and no one else in the game. So they're letting them know, get ready to whale out. It'll happen fast. And
all right. So in case you guys just want a quick rundown of what happens when someone beats or the first person beats Dark Dimension 4, one, a login calendar, which is going to give us 100 shards of a character that they choose. No, it's not going to be Emma Frost or Symbiote Spider-Man. They do rule those out if you read the very last line of the blog post. Blitz, there'll be 3 blitzes featuring characters that the person clears with. Fingers crossed they clear it with Minerva. Events.
That would be good.
Yes. Events, there'll be some 10 for 10s. This is where I think they put Minerva last time, a 10 for 10 instead of a blitz. But it'll also be a 10 for 10 for characters that they clear it with. So I'm hoping they clear it with some good 15 characters, some ghosts, some Yellow Jacket would be nice also.
Yeah, ghost.
And, you know, we can all wish. And yes, and obviously the winner gets themselves etched into one of the, what do you want to call it? Scenes, maps, stages of the game.
Somewhere in those stages. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they'll be mapped.
A little more graffiti like Widowmaker.
And the characters had to be released before November 24th. So it's basically every character's been released now. And actually, that would actually rule out Yellow Jacket, won't it? Because he's not being released by the 24th. Unless
That's right.
Unless he's an offer before then, but I don't think he's going to be an offer before then.
He might. They were talking. There was an in-game notice about Ghost being removed from the Red Star Orb, so Yellow Jacket could have his offer released before the 24th. I guess, you know, what day is it today? Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, let me make sure they didn't.
Seems unlikely though. That's pretty early in the week for a character release.
I'm starting on my game right now to make sure he's not there already. I don't want to look that stupid. Oh,
that's a good point. He might show up in 9 minutes.
All right. Anyways, we'll come back to it. We'll reshoot this part if I have to. Anyways,
that's a good point. Yeah, we don't want to step on that line,
because I'm not releasing this until probably Sunday. Just so
they don't usually release them on Friday night either, so that would be a big change too. It is a weird timing though.
All right, guys. So while I'm logging in to verify that Yellow Jacket doesn't get added to the store as we're recording, I'll let you guys know by the time we reach the end of the dev blog if he's going to hit the November 24th deadline or not. Any other thoughts for this before we move on?
Well, I mean, it's maybe they do already have plans to have a cosmic character to come out that we might really want in the future, but you know, if they start Dark Dimension by November 24th, maybe that's why that date's there. Then they'll have to make their selection pretty soon. So,
all right,
that's my last thought on that one.
So next part is character availability updates. Now, this one concerns me a little bit, and I'll explain why it concerns me. So first off, the next character to be farmable is Red Skull. I think we can all say it's about time. He's been in the game since March. So what's your thoughts on Red Skull? And by the way, he's replacing Thor in Doom War 1.6, which I think we all knew was a placeholder. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think they put him in the right place. I would hate for really strong war defense characters to mess with early or like mid-game alliance wars. You might just break it all. Like if you're an early game alliance and you're just starting to get into alliance war and the other team has a bunch of Red Skulls and you guys may not have access to all of the counters to them, then that would be a problem. But having it all the way in Doom War is reasonable because that is not really early to mid-game campaigns. So it takes a while to get there. And by the time you get there, it's probably fair to assume that some of you would have access to some of the counters as well.
Okay. So the first thing I want to hit on here. So one of the highly requested things that I always get is, how do I clear Chapter 7 of the Villains campaign to get to Hela? You know, and we always said 1 through 3. I don't know what you would say, but I always would recommend building AIM to clear off the 1 through 3 nodes. Now, I know Hydra with Red Skull is a very efficient way of clearing it too. But now this pretty much confirms that if anyone asks me, I'm always going to recommend AIM. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would go with AIM too. There's a lot more accessible and they help in a lot of different sections of the game.
Yeah.
And I've always had a bias against Hydra. It's part of who I am. Like, man, these Hydra, they're still wearing those same uniforms when they were like literally Nazis in the Captain America uniforms. And movie. So like I just can't go there, even though they do their job very well within this game.
All right. Uh,
Yeah.
so here's the other thing. It said in the upcoming week. So this is telling me that we're not getting him next Wednesday. We're getting him the following Wednesday, which is the first Wednesday of the month, which means they did us dirty this month. They gave us 2 characters the first Wednesday of November and then no other farmable characters the rest of November. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I mean, it is kind of holding to the bare minimum of their commitment to us, but yeah, I thought that we would see another character in the middle of November. Um, Given that he's probably the beginning of December, I agree with you there. I certainly hope there's more to December than that too.
I think we're going to get Doom War Chapter 3 because I'm pretty sure they promised us all 3 chapters in 2020, right?
Well, I'm a little blurry, but that would be nice.
All right. So if they do, assuming 2 new farmable characters, if they make both of those characters currently unfarmable characters in those nodes, then they would have gave us 3 in December, and it kind of makes up for November, in my opinion. If that's what they do, once again, speculation. There's no proof to that.
Yeah, that'd be a nice end of year holiday kind of gift to all the players. So we can hope.
Yes, we can hope. Next up, returning legendary event, Black Bolt. This is the very first legendary that I always recommend new players beeline to, like beeline to Hela, beeline to your Asgardians, get Black Bolt as soon as possible. If you have to ignore Star-Lord to do it, I tell people to do it. How do you feel about Black Bolt?
Oh, I use Black Bolt all the time. So he's in my Ultimate 7.5 teams. I mean, anything that's related to blasters, I like to slot him in on some of my war offense, obviously against Hydra and some other teams, and I just use him all the time. He's fantastic, and he helps unlock Ebony Maw, who's also fantastic.
All right, so let's move on to Blitz. Not a whole lot of excitement here. First off, next week we got Green Goblin, and then the second of Ghost. Which, have you seen the Blitz predictions for Ghost?
I did see them. They're very high.
Yes, I was like, oh man, I got to do all this just for 55 shards because I mean I don't have I don't have a really large total collection power, so I know what I can hit, and I realized like just to get that 55, I have to do a lot of work, and I was kind of down. I don't know. I mean, I'm attempting it. What are you doing here for Ghost's Blitz?
Well, I'll just confess right up front is I did buy one offer for Ghost, so the best I can really do is to get, and she's sitting at 3 stars for me right now. The best I can really do is get to 4 stars. So I won't be pushing that hard. I won't be pushing for like 100 shards to possibly get to 5-star. So I'm just gonna kind of stay middle of the road. That's kind of where I am at the whole game right now. There's not much that would push me into blitzing like I used to. So I thought this character was important for Dark Dimension 4, so I did buy one of them. Okay. Some other things that were going on at my house, and that's my route of how I'm approaching this particular character.
All right. Green Goblin, he's a character I have maxed out, so obviously I think this is one. A lot of players need Green Goblin to help them get Shuri and Invisible Woman. I don't think a lot of players like you and I are going to be doing much in this one, maybe milestones and done. So newer players, have fun. That's all I got to say because the rest of us are going to save our energy to blitz for Ghost. Next week, Killmonger and Yellow Jacket. So I do have to take one thing back. I did accuse them of probably paywalling Yellow Jacket. If it's official, he'll be a blitz release, no battle pass, so we can all calm down now, especially me. But what are your thoughts, Yellow Jacket being a blitz right after Ghost?
And so it's their typical formula. They do like to do 2 blitz characters for a new team, though they still haven't announced. They have not announced anything about this team possibly unlocking a legendary, so maybe they just won't. So I mean, I am less excited about Yellow Jacket as a standalone character, so I won't be buying a pack for him like I did for Ghost. And Ghost may be the last one I do for a very long time. But I'll just blitz for him. I mean, getting 45 shards is not hard over the course of two blitzes. Yeah. So easy going, and wait till he's farmable to really work on him.
All right. And then going back to the Killmonger Blitz, I think that's one where I don't know where you have Killmonger. He's maxed out for me. But you need any newer player playing, you want Killmonger for Chaos Theory alone because those promotional credits are very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I'm another one that's going to be Milestones and done. It's probably a nice one if you guys would take advantage of it and blitz a little extra. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, I like Killmonger. He may even help in that fun gamma ray update too. So I've got a route that takes me through Wakanda. So I may have to be working on Killmonger a lot over the next couple weeks.
So the last thing we're going to cover is bonus and flash events. So first off, Block Party returns. Get some extra T4s. If you're someone who wants a recommendation on City Heroes, don't do Defenders. They won't get you very far into anything else. Lean towards characters like Ghost Riders, Farmable. That's pretty
Young Avengers?
Young Avengers. Yeah. Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel.
Squirrel Girl and yep. Miles. And
I heard
that's a good start anyway.
And I heard people rumoring that Spider-Man's getting a rework, so maybe not a bad time. I don't know. Please don't hold me to that. He's getting a rework.
So we'll see if Anti-Venom fits. He's a hero now, right?
I would recommend Symbiote Spider-Man and Anti-Venom. They're just not farmable yet. Obviously, once Anti-Venom becomes farmable, probably my very first recommendation right there.
Oh, agreed. I mean, the symbiotes are amazing, and everywhere I use them in this game. So if you can, those would definitely make a lot of sense if you're building a team to approach Block Party, to get that first 3-star clear.
All right, guys, I do have to confirm at this time, Yellow Jacket is in the game, so that means he is released before November 24th, which means he could possibly be a character that gets put into that mix of being able for 100 shards or a blitz or a 10 for 10, depending on who the person clears it with. So exciting times. He will not be left out. But it also means we got probably 2+ weeks until the next character gets introduced in the game. So we have, everyone's going to save for some red stars for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull some red stars on him. I'm not super excited, and if like Longshot and Shatterstar are next, I will end up with a really big pile of red star orbs by the time I'm ready to go for a character I'm excited about.
All right, so we're gonna hold that excitement about what you hold your red stars for. We got like 2 more lines here. So next thing after City Heroes, the first week in every month, Friday's event, we get the Chaos Theory. Hulk drew a blank. Chaos Theory event, which you get them the promotion credits, which is probably the only reason why I tell anyone to build Wakandas at this point, excluding the debacle and the Gamma Raid, which I'm hoping that they walk back and do something different. So Wakandans, for the promotion credits, anything I just said, you have any thoughts on?
The only thing I would mention is just be careful. I know folks go through Dark Dimension 3, and after the second run, they get a lot of gold promotion credits. Once you use those, you're not going to get any more for a very long time. Even with this event, which is really important to clear so you can start collecting some more, it's going to take a very long time. So always be very careful how you use those gold promotion credits, and don't be in a hurry. Like, wait until it's something you really, really need.
All right, that's good advice right there. All right, so with all this done, Dev with the Dev blog, I do want to talk about next patch. Because obviously the next announcement of devlog we get is pretty much going to be the one right before they announce everything coming in the new patch. So besides Shatterstar and Longshot, do you think this next patch is going to be bigger than just 3 characters?
I think the next patch will definitely include the launch of Dark Dimension 4, so that's going to be pretty big as far as the background mechanics and coding for the whole game. But yeah, I think that we're due for a legendary to be announced. We will have the second run, especially now that they've accelerated the timelines of our legendaries with Nick Fury and then Magneto literally 1 week later. Like, we could get to Dr. Octopus's second run very soon. And usually by the time we get to the second run of the most recent legendary character, we know what the next one is.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then we know that we may have seen a strategy change where maybe we don't see as many legendary characters released. We'll just have to really watch that closely, but I do expect something like that soon.
All right, so I guess go back to my question here a little bit. So, about 2 months ago, actually probably longer than 2 months. I did a video basically laying out the rest of 2020, each patch, and what to expect. I did mention in that video that the December patch is going over Christmas, New Year's, all the holidays, and they're not going to be in their offices cranking out, working on designs, new characters, and I kind of predicted that this December patch would be longer than normal. Normal's like 5 weeks. And I did say they'll probably release 4 characters to extend out a few more weeks so they can get back to their patch rotations. So the question is, you were saying about saving your red stars for a certain character. What would be that character you'd like to see come out?
I have a really strong feeling that once WandaVision hits and the MCU finally restarts again in 2021, in January, we're going to see characters like Quicksilver, who should be stupid fast. So, yeah, he's probably going to be amazing. Or Speed, who should also be stupid fast and may do some interesting things. Or Wiccan, or Mephisto, or I think something tied into the actual reboot of the MCU is going to come out, and that's going to really, say, re-energize what I want to do in the game and maybe change how we play this game. And that would be the kind of character I would really like start pouring Red Star orbs and promotion credits into.
All right, guys, that will do it for this dev blog. Obviously, there is not a dev blog next week. Everyone's taken off for the holidays. Not the content creators, just the people who make this game. So, guys, if you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here and haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss any hot takes or any guests I have on my channel, don't forget that notification bell. And with all that said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye. All right. Let's see here. We're going to scroll down. Actually, I'll start this way. I'll scroll down.
This is way too big. I've made it huge on my screen.